So we're getting ready for Lag Baomer here in Tzfat, and it's very exciting. We are not so far from Meron, from Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. It's a 10 minutes drive from us. And every night we're learning in Meron. And I want to give you a summary of what we learned last night about Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. What could be more exciting than sitting at Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai at Meron and learning about Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai? Not only that, learning what the Rebbe explains about Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. It's pretty exciting to be able to do that. And of course, we're learning in Hebrew, but I'm happy to share with you in English some of the thoughts that we covered yesterday. So the idea, this topic that the Rebbe has here, Lehovin Inyan Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. We want to understand the inyan, the matter, the issue, the concept of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. In other words, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai is a person, right? Lived in the 2nd century in the Holy Land, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. But more than being a person, Rabbi Shimon is actually a concept. This is how the Rebbe says. We want to understand the concept. So in order to understand that, we want to bring up an issue with Rabbi Shimon. And the issue is that we find that the Jewish people, and even before that, the Tanaim, the authors of the Mishnah, the rabbis that surrounded Rabbi Shimon, we find in many cases that they praised him tremendously, just like unbelievable praises. Before he was teaching, and at other times they called him different holy names. We find this also, the Jewish people do the same thing. When we come to Miron, or even some Jews do it at home every Shabbat, we sing certain zmirot, certain songs that the Bar Yochai Nimshachto Ashrecho, right? This is a famous song. What is the concept of this song? It's really, we praise Rabbi Shimon. We speak about how great he was and how amazing he was. He was a Torah scholar. He was close to the divine presence. All kinds of praises and sort of compliments that we give Rabbi Shimon. And the question is, what is it? Why do we find that in regard to Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, there's such a concept that we constantly talk in praises about him? What is it seems like a simple thing. We love Rabbi Shimon is awesome, we talk greatly about him. But as we'll find out, that's not really the entire story. There's something very, very profound in this issue of the praising of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. If we will understand in depth the concept of praising Rabbi Shimon, then we will understand who is Rabbi Shimon and what is Rabbi Shimon. Okay, so in order to understand that, the Rebbe brings here another idea, and that is, when do we find praising, a lot of praising, that also needs to be explained why we find it. That is, in davening, in prayer. Every day when we open the siddur, here's my siddur right here, and we open the siddur, we put on tefillin, and we say, Psuki de Zimra. What is Psuki de Zimra? My soul should praise God. I'm going to praise God even when I'm alive, and I will sing God. Don't trust anybody, just trust HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And God created the world, and the angels praise God, and praise God with a violin, and praise God with a drum. And basically we have a long time of davening that we are praising Hashem. And only later we say the Shema and we say the silent prayer, but we have a big chunk of praising HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Why do we need to do that? I remember one time in Eugene, a student came over to me and he asked me, after he started davening, he got himself a siddur, why is this so long? Why do I have to say all of this? And part of the saying that we say is all this praising of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. What, does Hashem need us really every morning to get up and praise Him so at length? So Hasidus explains like this, that the world that we live in, even though God created the world and God is within the world, but the world is really be'ein haroich l'HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The world is really beyond, God is really beyond the world. And in order for us to cause God a desire to relate to the world, how do we do that? By praising Hashem. This is similar in human nature. Sometimes you have a situation where you need something from somebody, you want something from somebody, but why would that person relate to you? Why would they even have a conversation with you? So you start with a compliment, with a genuine. We're talking about a genuine compliment. Not talking right now about diplomacy and tricks, but even the diplomacy. Where does it come from? It comes from the truth, because the truth is that a person opens up when they hear some shevach, when they hear some praise. It gives them more of a desire to connect. So where does that come from in human nature? Everything in human nature comes from the divine energy in the world. This is how it works with godliness. God desires the world more when we praise God. What is davening? Davening, according to the Torah, the mitzvah of davening is not to praise Hashem. That's not the mitzvah. The mitzvah of davening is to ask from HaKadosh Baruch Hu what you need. This is the mitzvah. If you look in the codifiers of Jewish law, in halacha, this is the mitzvah. Bakashat tzrachav. Ask Hashem when you need something. But the sages told us, don't get up in the morning and start asking. Before you ask, you have to praise HaKadosh Baruch Hu. This we are mentioning it here just for the sake of the next point. So we're not covering this point at length. This is a very profound point to be pondered upon and explained more. We're just mentioning it to say the following, that just like we need to praise God in order to be able to connect with God, that God should have anything to do with us, that Hashem should listen to us, we open up by praising. So too, and this is the point here, the other authors of the Mishnah, the colleagues, so to say, that you think perhaps they are colleagues of Rabbi Shimon. If you just read the Talmud without learning Hasidus, you might think that Rabbi Shimon and Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Meir and all those rabbis are all on the same level. This is what it seems like from the Talmud, but when it comes to Kabbalah, when it comes to Hasidus, you find out that that's not the case at all. Rabbi Shimon was completely beyond everyone else. He was on a completely different level. He was on such a beyond level than anybody else that there wouldn't be a way to communicate with Rabbi Shimon unless the other rabbis would first initiate praising Rabbi Shimon. And this is why we find praising of Rabbi Shimon in order to make a connection. This is also why we find this. The Rebbe doesn't bring it in the discourse, but I am adding something that just makes sense according to what we're learning here. That this is why we find that we do the same thing. When somebody goes to Meron, when somebody comes to visit Rabbi Shimon, what's the first thing we do? Va'amartem kol lechai Rabbi Shimon Baruch Hai. And on the thousands and the hundreds of thousands of people who come to Meron for Lag Baomer, what do? They're dancing. What are they dancing? What are they saying? They're praising Rabbi Shimon. Why are they praising Rabbi Shimon? Because they want to have a connection with Rabbi Shimon. So, this is the point for today. I took it from this sefer right here, Ma'amorim of the Rebbe, Lag Baomer Tafshin Mem Hey. This is a discourse that will explain at length what is it. So we just said the point, Rabbi Shimon is beyond everybody. That's a very nice line, but why is Rabbi Shimon beyond everybody? What is it about Rabbi Shimon that is so above everybody else? And if Rabbi Shimon is so above everybody else, how does our praising him cause him to connect with us? Why would he even want to be connected with us? So we leave this for the next couple of videos. I'll explain at length all the points, but this is just the starter to get a little bit into the mood of Lag Baomer and into the personality and into the concept of Rabbi Shimon Baruch Hai.